All set. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for tonight's presentation from Nflight Clam on flying with a GoPro. My name is Jeff Simon. I'm president of SocialFlight. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'd like to welcome you to the SocialFlight community. SocialFlight is the free web and mobile app dedicated to supporting general aviation. We do that by gathering all the events happening in aviation and making them available at socialflight.com and through our mobile apps for Apple and Android devices. Our mission is to give pilots like yourselves more reasons to get out there and fly. It's all completely free, and it's made possible by companies such as tonight's featured guest, Nflight Cam. Tonight's presenter is Patrick Carter. Patrick is president of Nflight Cam, and if you have a GoPro or even thinking about getting one, Nflight Cam is definitely the place to go, and you'll see that from their experience of what they're going to present this evening. Patrick is an extremely experienced and interesting guy. He has over 6,000 flight hours. He's an ATP, A&P with an inspection authorization, with a CFI, CFII, MEI, associate member of the Society of Experimental Test Pilots, the International Aerobatic Club, International Council of Air Shows. He's even worked as a test pilot for Cessna aircraft and as a corporate pilot for various corporations. Currently, in addition to running Nflight Technology, Patrick flies as a bush pilot for K2 Aviation in Talkeetna, Alaska. So it's really going to be, I'm excited, it's going to be a very interesting presentation this evening. A couple of quick notes. A recording of tonight's presentation will be available on socialflight.com within a few hours after the presentation is done. We'll send you a link by email after the presentation. Feel free to post questions during the presentation, and we'll have a QA session at the end. There's a chat box in the lower left-hand side of your screen. And if you post those there, we'll try to gather them together and answer as many of them as possible at the end of the presentation. One last item regarding audio. I do recommend using a dial-in versus using your computer for audio. You can use your computer, certainly, but we found that the best quality comes over the dial-in. So with that, I will hand it over to Patrick. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I really appreciate the introduction, and welcome to our presentation tonight. I'd like to start off by saying thank you to SocialFlight. For those of you out there that haven't used SocialFlight or don't know exactly what it is, I highly recommend it. If you're like me, you love to fly, and oftentimes the weekend rolls around, the weather is beautiful, and you want to go flying, but it's a whole lot more fun to do it with somebody else, and you don't quite have anybody to go with. So SocialFlight helps solve that problem. Gives you some good reasons to get out and go flying, go meet up with other like-minded aviators. So it's a great app, and we really appreciate what SocialFlight's doing and what Jeff is doing to help keep aviation, especially general aviation, moving in the right direction, keep everybody out there having fun. So I'll go ahead and start off, kick off tonight's presentation. And at the end, we'll have a question and answer session, so I'll be happy to answer any questions. And I'm also always available via email at support@nflightcam.com. And I'll be happy to answer any GoPro questions there. So I'm going to move on just a little bit about myself. Like Jeff said, I currently work as a bush pilot in Talkeetna, Alaska, flying ski planes in Denali National Park. So that's the top left corner. That's my office view. Absolutely love it, and get to fly a lot of cool airplanes, mainly de Havilland otters and beavers, but get to have a lot of fun. So if anybody's ever in Talkeetna, come find me at K2 Aviation. I'm there all summer. In my past, been fortunate enough to have an interesting aviation career, but I spent some time flying for Cessna as a test pilot, and some pictures there at the bottom. Actually, the picture on the bottom left was on that was a filming expedition or flight we were on in Africa. I was making some making videos. I was doing the GoPro work for videos in Africa there and flying the Katmai 182. On the right's bottom right's a photo shoot we did with a Cessna CJ. That's a CJ3 there. And then the top right, probably my favorite picture. I love to work on airplanes as well, so don't do a lot of flying in Alaska in the winter, so doing some working on airplanes. So I've got two little boys, and you can see they're working on the engine there. We're overhauling a 0360 this winter for a mall project we're working on, so they love to get their hands greasy. I'll move on here to the next slide and dive into the meat of the presentation, and we'll jump to the questions at the end. All right, so rather than do a formal outline, I came up with some of the most common questions I get. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and answering questions on cameras and point of view cameras and how to mount them on airplanes. So I came up with the most common questions. I'm going to do my best to answer them. The GoPro is by far the industry leader in point of view cameras. They probably outsell anybody else 10 to 1. Not that there aren't other good choices out there, but GoPro is prominent, and we will focus on them because it seems like that's what most people have. And inside of GoPro, they offer a lot of different choices. Which camera do you want and why? I'll go through that here shortly. Once you have your camera, what do you do with it next? You know, if you haven't used a digital video camera, especially with a micro SD card, that's kind of foreign. There's a lot of steps involved, so I'll give you an overview of those. What do you need to know about flying with a camera? Legality of it, what's safe, what isn't safe, what works, what doesn't work. That leads us into the next question. I want to film my flight. How do I do it? So we'll talk about that. And then after you filmed your flight, you know, these things don't make VHS tapes or automatically jump onto your TV in an edited format with music. So I'll go through how we edit the video, how we process it, and get it out there so that the world can see it. That's the important part. Get it on YouTube, get it on Facebook, make sure people can see it, or get it on your TV at home. And then that gets us to the next question of what can I do with the video. So I'll talk through how we share our videos socially, which is the main way that digital video is shared today and allows all of us to share our videos with the world. And who knows, you might make a video that goes viral. All right, so GoPro. I've put my top 3 choices up here for pilots, and not to blow off the other choices that GoPro has out there, but they really just aren't all that suited for the cockpit. So we have 3 cameras here. We have the Hero 4 Session. It came out in July. GoPro recently just reduced the price to $199.99. I paid $399.99 for mine, so this doesn't make me too happy. And by the way, I'm not a GoPro dealer. Occasionally I do sell GoPros, but I'm not a GoPro dealer, so I don't have any really, I'm not biased on this. I bought my GoPro Hero 4 Session in July at Best Buy, just like everybody else. So part of me is a little sad that it's down to $199.99, but if you don't have one yet, good for you. You'll get one at a great price. It's an awesome camera. I consider it my action sports camera. I do a lot of stuff outside of the airplane too. I love to kayak, hike, run, skydive, anything else I can do. So this is kind of my go-to camera for all around. And what its strengths are: battery life. Battery life's amazing, and simplicity and ease of use. It's inherently waterproof. No waterproof case. There's one button to start and stop recording. I went on a 3-day backcountry trip with mine, filming as much as I wanted, and the battery was had 50% when I got back. So pretty awesome camera in that regard. Decent quality. Not as good as the Hero 4 Silver, Black, and Hero 4 Black and Silver. So that leads us to the Black. This is the top of the line flagship camera that GoPro makes right now. It's got amazing resolution, 4K at 30 frames a second. Now, if you're listening and scratching your head and wondering what 4K is, this probably is not the camera for you. If you have a 4K television or you're shooting professionally, it's a great camera, a lot of bang for your buck. You can't even touch the capabilities of this camera for under several $1,000s. And GoPro's putting it out there at $500. It's a great camera. It's a little bit harder to use than the next camera. It does not have a screen on the back, so you have to connect it up to your iPhone or Android device to be able to see what you're shooting. So a little less user-friendly. I say it's really not for the faint of heart. It's more for the prosumer to professional level videographer. And then on the far right, my all-around favorite GoPro. This is the one I grabbed the most, the Hero 4 Silver. The reason I like it, it's got all the resolution you need. It'll shoot 4K, just not at 30 frames a second. Not that you'd need to do that. Shoots the high resolution stuff, shoots high frame rates, which is actually really important for us as pilots, or helps us out, makes better quality videos. My default video, if I'm going to make something for online sharing, is 1080p at 60 frames a second. Hero 4 Silver does that great. The thing I love about it, it's got the touch screen on the back, and it's a resistive touch screen, so it works like your iPhone. You don't have to remember all these buttons and pushing, and I've used a GoPro a lot, and I still get confused with the traditional format of how you select the settings with the 2 buttons on the front. With the Hero 4 Silver, all that's gone. You just program it. It's a graphical user interface, and you can see what you're shooting. So I really like the Hero 4 Silver. Lately, we've been able to buy some overstock Hero 4 Silver cameras and offer them packaged with our aviation bundles. If you stick around tonight, I've got a few of those left, and I'll tell you how to get them. And the beautiful thing about that is we sell them for $399.99 with the aviation accessories that you can only get from us. But once those are gone, they're gone. Stick around, I'll talk a little more about that as we go. But that's the camera I recommend the most. If you need a Hero 4 Black, you'll know you need it. If it's your first GoPro, I'm strongly recommending the silver. If you're thinking about a second GoPro for the cockpit to mount out on the wing or somewhere like that, I really recommend the Session. It's just a great all-around camera with great battery life. We do make a what we call our Hero 4 Session cage, which is an billet aluminum housing for the camera with a filter that goes on the front to remove the propeller. The thing about the Session is it does not have an audio input, so you can't pipe in your audio from your intercom like you can with the Hero 4 Black or Hero 4 Silver. So that is another drawback to it, but great for a wingtip, really small. I'll move on here to what do you do next after you get your camera. So we're all here because we're interested in GoPro cameras, but now I'm sure a lot of you have them. Some of you are thinking about buying them. You're going to pull it out of the box and wonder what to do with it. So we got to charge the battery. And then we've got to install the micro SD card and pair it with our mobile device. Installing the battery is pretty simple. The bottom door on the camera just slides open, and then you can slide the battery in. It uses a mini USB. You plug it into the side of the camera, and the camera will charge just through a normal USB connection. Any USB charger that plugs into the wall or a cigarette lighter will work, and it'll takes about an hour and a half to charge the camera, and you've got about an hour and a half of battery life with the standard battery. Now that presents a problem for us flying. I often fly longer than an hour and a half at a time, and I don't really want my GoPro to die. So one of the things we do, we call it our GoPro Audio Plus Power Cable, and I have a slide with a picture of it a little later, but what it does is it provides a pass-through. It puts audio from your intercom into the camera and also allows you to put power into the camera at the same time so that you have unlimited battery life. So there's a little gotcha here. You have to use a USB battery pack. We have tried to engineer our way around this, and the way the GoPro's designed is they've grounded their audio to the circuit board, and the way most airplanes are grounded is we've grounded everything back to the airframe. So we create a ground loop, and it creates a hum if you were to plug this into a cigarette lighter USB adapter in the airplane. So we recommend using a USB battery pack to avoid that, separate the grounds, and have crystal clear audio and unlimited power. Micro SD card goes in the side here. You can use up to 64 gigabytes, and you want a class 10. Now, what I like to tell people about micro SD is it's kind of like gasoline. It's not all the same. You can get 87 octane or you can get 100 low lead. Digital video is high octane. We need the highest class rating, which is the speed that we can get. So you don't want to go on Amazon.com and type in 64 gigabyte micro SD and buy the cheapest one out there, because it probably won't work in your GoPro. What you want to do is find a class 10 class 10 memory card from a reputable supplier. There's several of them out there, SanDisk, Kingston. All of those guys make great cards that are going to work every time. Slide it in the side of the camera and you're off to the races. It's a little bitty card. And then the next thing we got to do is install our app. So we can install the GoPro app on an iOS or Android device. It's free. And that allows us to view and change the settings on the camera. Now, if you have the Hero 4 Silver, you don't necessarily have to do this, but it will work, and it is nice. It makes it easy to change settings as well on maybe a little bigger screen. You can do this on an iPad as well. If you're using any of the other GoPros, this is a mandatory step to be able to adjust your settings on your camera. So they come with really good instructions on how to do this. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but you go to the App Store, download the app, and then you pair it with Bluetooth and with Wi-Fi. They pair the two channels together to get more bandwidth so that they can stream video faster without latency. Works really well. The app allows you to highlight and tag your best moments. Pretty cool. So you can go back when you're editing. And then you can view your photos and play back videos right after you shoot them. So you can see what you're getting and play it back on your phone. You can even edit it on your phone and post it to Facebook or YouTube. One of the most popular videos I've ever made, I made in the back of an airplane on a 30-minute flight home. Somebody else was flying, and I edited a video And before I landed, I had it shared on Facebook, and it got as one of my highest viewing videos. You can copy and save photos and videos over to your camera roll on your phone, and then you can check out what other people are doing through the GoPro channel. It also allows you to keep your camera up to date. This is kind of a big deal. In the past, point of view cameras have been really hard to deal with the firmware. There's been all kinds of magical button presses and odd sequences you had to go through to update the firmware on your camera, and GoPro makes it really easy through their app. Makes life a lot easier than it was 3 or 4 years ago. All right, so that's kind of an overview of the GoPro product line and what I like to recommend and what I've found works. I did a count. I have about 28 GoPros that I own and use on a routine basis, and so I have a pretty good feel for which ones, and I recommend the ones I grab the most myself, which is the Hero 4 Silver, and I use the black occasionally for special requirements, and then I'm really becoming fond of the Session because I can fly in with it, hop out of the airplane, go do whatever it is I'm going to do, hop back in the airplane, and get back and still have plenty of battery left. So really great for filming kids and sticking it underwater and beating it up, snow skiing, or doing whatever it is else you might do in your life besides fly. All right, so mounting the camera on an airplane presents some challenges. The GoPros come with plastic mounts and adhesive mounts. Both of these are bad words, in my opinion, when it comes to flying, because the consequence, the GoPro was designed for surfboards and skateboards. The consequence of losing a GoPro off of an airplane is a little bit higher than off of a surfboard or a skateboard. We could endanger ourselves or somebody else on the ground. So we want to be responsible about how we mount it. Now, you can do adhesive mounts. I know people that have done them. I've done them back in the early days, and they do work about 9 out of 10 times. I've seen them not work, and I've heard a lot of people tell me about how they did not work. So the adhesive wears out over time if you happen to have wax on the surface, et cetera. There's a lot of variables in using an adhesive mount as to why it might or might not work. So about 4 years ago, I designed this mount with a friend of mine for a shoot we were doing, and we milled it out of aluminum so that there is no way the camera can come off. It'll go anywhere you have a number 6, 8, or 10 machine screw, so you have a lot of versatility as to where it goes. We have what we call our spud, which is about a 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch piece made out of round stock. So we send a longer screw with it that you can remove a screw, put a screw back in through this spud, and then we clamp onto it. The only non-metal piece is a polyglass filled injected ball that's clamped. There's no way that's going to break. I've had these fly over 500 knots indicated airspeed. I actually had one take a direct hit from a rock last year on a gravel bar, totally destroyed the GoPro, but the mount was still in the same spot. So in my opinion, this is the most solid mount you can get. I never heard of one coming off of an airplane with over 4,000 of these in the field. And then in the bottom right corner inside the cockpit, I like to use suction cups. They're just really versatile. And I have another mount I'm about to show that we are going to release for the first time tonight that's also useful inside the cockpit. So it's kind of an overview of how I mount. Top left is putting the spud on, and then in the middle there shows a picture of it. That's our RV4. You can see it underneath the wing, and then you can see it on top of the cowling. So our company airplane here at Nflight's an RV4. We have to go out and do some product testing every now and then. It's pretty rough job. Bottom left, we've got a camera underneath the wing of a Navajo, and then I've got a suction cup on the Beaver windshield here. All right, so is it legal? And this has been debated since cameras first started showing up on airplanes. So we've got a letter here from the FAA that talks about whether this is legal or not and names us specifically. You can download this letter. I'll be happy to email you a copy of it. It's on our website also with our mount. But it discusses whether this falls into the category of a major alteration or not. And so I'm going to read question 2. Whether or not the installation of this type of equipment could be considered a minor change to type design as defined in 14 CFR section 21.93. So the FAA's response is, we're aware of no design approval holder that has made a minor change in type design under 14 CFR 21.95 to incorporate such an installation, nor are we aware of any person who has applied for approval of a major change in type design under 14 CFR 21.97 to do so. Therefore, the installation described is not a change in type design, and consequently, 14 CFR 21.93 is not applicable. If such an installation were to be approved as a minor change in type design, it would have to be shown to have no appreciable effect on weight, balance, structural strength, reliability, operational characteristics, or other characteristics affecting the airworthiness of the product. This determination would be dependent upon the specific model, type design in question, and details of the design change. Now, the FAA allows an A&P to make those determinations and to sign off on a minor alteration. So if your A&P agrees that this has no appreciable effect on weight and balance, structural strength, reliability, operational characteristics, or other characteristics affecting the airworthiness of the product, then they can sign the installation of our billet mount off as a minor alteration, and you have a legal camera mount on a certified airplane. Now, this letter was issued in March 13th, 2014, so a little over a year ago. I have since used it on multiple occasions and had multiple inspections. I've used it on 135 certified 135 aircraft that are routinely inspected, and spoke with the FAA, and they've agreed with this and agreed with my sign-offs as a minor alteration. So it can be done legally, and it's actually not that hard. I think it's a good thing that an A&P has to look at it, make sure it's done right, because there are some issues if you were to mount a camera in some odd places, like on a balanced control surface or something like that. So your A&P should be able to help you out with that. I'm always available, again, at support@nflightcam.com to answer any questions. I'll be happy to talk with your mechanic as well about how I install the cameras and what to look out for. Now, this is a new mount that we have never sold. We're going to start selling them tonight. It's our clamp mount. And you can see here we were doing a little bit of product testing and photo shooting with it last week. Adds a lot of versatility over the suction cup. In aircraft with curved canopies, suction cups can be challenging. But you can usually find a tube somewhere, and there's a lot of tube and fabric airplanes. So we've got it clamped on here. Rock solid mount, and you get a lot of versatility. It comes with a ball head and a clamp for your GoPro. GoPro sells something similar. We've tweaked this one a little bit for the airplane, made it all metal, and added some robust grips and made the range of the clamp a little bit bigger. So you can get a picture of that here, and we're also going to offer a special on that tonight. Anybody here in the webinar that purchases one of our cockpit kits or Elite Aviator kits will get one of these clamp mounts for free tonight. The clamp mounts are going to sell for $59.99 on our website, so you'll be getting a $60 value. And our cockpit kit's already $30 off tonight, so it's $99.99. You get a free clamp mount, which is a $60 value. All you have to do is in the comment section of your order, type webinar special, and I'll put one of these clamp mounts in for you for free. So you'll be getting an almost $90 value on our cockpit kit. Now I'll get into what our cockpit kit is here in a little bit and what our Elite Aviator kit is, but to put it real briefly, the cockpit kit is everything you need to use your GoPro in the cockpit, and our Elite Aviator kit is everything you need to use your GoPro in the cockpit or outside the cockpit. Okay, so we've got this GoPro mounted in the camera, or we've got the GoPro mounted in the airplane, sorry, and we have a microphone on it. Audio is half the story. We haven't even talked about that yet. So airplanes are noisy. We wear headsets, and engine noise gets old after about 45 seconds. We've designed an audio cable here that plugs into your intercom, so the 1/4-inch male plugs into your panel. Then there's a female pass-through because we don't want to lose we got to be able to plug our headset in, so you plug your 1/4-inch side of your headset into our female end of our cable here. It's about a 6-inch lead off of it, so it's really pretty simple. It goes right up next to the panel. And you plug in the microphone side of your headset, the .216 connector, into your panel. Now this gives you a male mini USB that goes into the side of your GoPro. What this does is allow you to put audio into the GoPro. And this isn't just a simple pass-through. There's some circuitry going on here to match the impedance going into the GoPro and also clean up the audio coming out of the intercom to make sure it's nice and clear when you get it on your GoPro. And like I mentioned earlier, the battery power is an issue with the GoPro. So we have the female end of the mini USB that allows you to plug in the charging cable that comes with your GoPro and power your GoPro while you fly, pretty much giving you endless battery life. That's our audio cable. That comes in both our cockpit kit and our Elite Aviator kit that we're pushing tonight. The next thing, we need to be able to get rid of the propeller filter. These cameras, the reason they're so small is they use what's called a CMOS sensor. It's a solid state camera sensor. It's not mechanical at all. And it creates these lines in your video like you see on the top left there. It's before in-flight cam image. You see these lines in the video, make it really ugly. After you add our filter, it looks like the bottom image there. It gets rid of the propeller. It makes it look like it naturally looks when we look at, when we're using our eye to look through the propeller. When it's spinning, you can't see anything. So these filters do that. We have a cockpit filter, top right. You can see we call that the naked camera. It's not inside its waterproof housing, not nearly as robust. But you can access the ports on the side really easy. It's smaller and easier to stick out of the way somewhere. So we make that filter there. That comes in our cockpit kit. And then the bottom right is our exterior filter. This is a 58 millimeter filter that goes on to the waterproof case of your GoPro. The nice thing about all of our filters is we make the adapters as well. You can unscrew the filter that we have on it and put a standard camera filter on as well. So if you're doing something else outside of the airplane, fishing, and you want to put a polarizer on, you want to put a colored lens or anything like that on, you have the ability to do that with our adapters. So that's our propeller filter. And those come in the top one, the cockpit filter comes in the cockpit kit, and then the bottom right one, that comes in the Elite Aviator kit as well. So you get a propeller filter with either kit. So what do you do after you go flying? You've got this, you went out, had this awesome flight, you get back, and you've got this GoPro camera. Well, it's great. I had a great time, but how do I prove I did anything? You've got to plug it in to your computer or sync it up to your mobile device to get that video off of it. Like I said, one of my most popular videos I actually made on my iPhone on the ride back from a flight. It just happened to be great content. So a lot of times it's great content, not necessarily editing. Sometimes the editing helps. But GoPro offers GoPro Cineform Studio, which is free for your desktop. You can plug your camera in, pull the video over to it, add music, effects, text, clip it, do all that good stuff, color, saturation. Really pretty high-end editing software that's completely free. This video will also work with any other editing software out there. If you're running an Apple product, you've got iMovie or Final Cut 10. Both of them are great products. You can use the Adobe Premiere Suite, any of the professional editing softwares or non-professional editing softwares. It's an MP4 file that comes out of the camera. So pretty easy to use. And then if you're brand new to this, don't want to invest in a lot of expensive computer equipment to edit video, don't underestimate the power of just a mobile device. I imagine most people have an iPhone or an Android. You can do a whole lot with it, so don't let the computer hold you back there. And you can go straight from your phone to Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, which is great because then all your friends can see it. So you go to this epic flight, and you get back, and before you get to the house, you can have it on Facebook and have all your friends jealous. So that's really cool. GoPro's put a lot of time and effort into making the workflow easy for those of us that want to spend time flying and not editing video. So this is our cockpit kit here. No, it doesn't come with the, well, actually, kind of might come with the camera tonight, depending on how quick you are on the draw here. So we have, this is our cockpit kit. It comes with a custom cut foam case, a cable, our audio cable, our cockpit filter, and a suction cup to mount the camera in the cockpit. Now I've got 10 Hero 4 Silver Edition cameras that I bought on an overstock deal that I'm just moving along pretty much at our cost with our cockpit kit included. So those cameras are $399.99 tonight. It comes with our cockpit kit. That's the same price as you'll buy a GoPro Hero 4 Silver for on Amazon or Best Buy. And the promo code for that is SocialFlight Webinar. So you'll want to go to our website and put the Hero 4 Silver bundle in your cart, and then when you check out in the top right corner, you'll want to type SocialFlight Webinar, all caps, and it'll give you the discount to make this $399.99. It's a great deal. You can't, if you're a pilot and you want a GoPro Hero 4 Silver, it's going to come, it's in the box just like you get it from Best Buy, but you have the cockpit kit with it, so you get our foam case, our cable, our propeller filter, and a suction cup to go with it tonight for the same price. So I don't think those will last long. We've only got 10 of them available. And when they're gone until somebody else, I find, has more GoPros and they know what to do with, and I can pick them up. So that's our cockpit kit. If you already have a GoPro, cockpit kit tonight, $99.99, comes with a $60 clamp for free, and it's already $30 off. It's on our website, marked down $30. To get the clamp, make sure you put in the comment section, webinar special, and I'll throw that clamp in there for you for free. This is the clamp. You can see it here. It's got our metal fork on the top of it, a ball head, and then a solid metal clamp here that expands out up to 1.5 inch diameter tube, so you can fit it on just about anything. Here's some pictures of the clamp in the RV4 on the roll bar there, making sure it works upside down too. And then this is our Elite Aviator kit. So if you're really serious about using your GoPro inside and outside the cockpit, this is the kit for you. It comes with our exterior billet mount, which is what we like to use at mounting outside the airplane. It comes with a really high-end suction cup. This is a super expensive suction cup to buy, and it interfaces with our billet mount, so you can take the spud mount out of the billet mount there and clamp it onto the suction cup, and you've got what I call our high-G, high-vibration suction cup. If you're flying a Stearman or some type of open cockpit airplane, this is a great solution. Because that suction cup is really robust. Not that our other suction cup's not good, but it's not made for an open cockpit airplane or a T6 or something like that that's really going to vibrate. It comes with our GoPro Audio Plus power cable there on the top left. It comes with our 58mm exterior filter on the top right, and then we throw in a skeleton case. The skeleton case is like the waterproof case, except for it has holes in the side and allows you to plug the cable in. What this lets you do is use the camera inside the cockpit with the suction cup and the cable plugged in. So you get the versatility both inside and outside the cockpit. Now this kit retails for $199.99, comes with the foam carrying case. And tonight, once again, if you put in the comment section, webinar special, I'll throw in a free clamp mount tonight. So that's our Elite Aviator kit. And I'll go ahead and open it up to questions.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of the questions that have come in, Patrick. So one of the most common questions that we've seen has to do with externally mounting the camera, and if there are any options at all there regarding power, et cetera.
So it depends on what type of airplane you're working with. Experimental, yes. Certified gets a little more complicated because you're running wires out there. So I typically stay away from it. If you use your app to turn on and off the camera, you've got an hour and a half. Audio out there, I wish I could make some whiz-bang wireless audio thing to work out there, but we've actually made them, and our cost is so high on them that we don't think we could sell them. And there's a real simple solution. You can use a digital audio recorder in the cockpit. We also sell a cable for $40, $39.99. It's called our iPhone cable. It's available on our website. Your iPhone or Android will work with either of them. We call it, actually, our smartphone cable is what it's called. Both have voice recorders built in. You can record the audio from inside the cockpit, and then in Cineform Studio, you can easily mix it back in with your exterior video. We usually, if it's not a professional shoot, we usually find it's too much work to get approval to run wires out to the wings and et cetera, wherever you want it.
Another one of the questions, Patrick, is we've got several questions about how the different components that you have in the kits work with earlier models, such as Hero 3, for example, or even the GoPro 2.
Okay, so we don't make anything for the GoPro 2. The entire case design is a little different. The Hero 3 has two case styles. There's a case style. Let me see if I can pull it up here on my website. Assume I'm still sharing my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the images of the case styles here. See if I can find the case. Okay. So if your case looks like this, you can use the filters on our website. If your case has a plastic bezel with screws around it. We no longer sell the filters for that style case on our website, but they are available on Amazon.com. So if you go to Amazon.com and type in Nflight Cam, you'll pop up, it's our SKU 500 Nflight Cam propeller filter. There's a few of them left on Amazon. When they're gone, they're gone. And they sell for $24.99. It's a snap-on plastic filter that snaps on the old case. The new filters are higher quality, so a lot of times I recommend that you purchase a new style case. The camera, the Hero 3 camera, will fit into this new skeleton case. So you can pick up a case for $50, and then you can use the glass filter that works really well. So that is how that works.
Okay. Another question that we've got, well, one has to do with rotorcraft, and does filter work for that as well?
It does. Yep.
Okay. And let's take a look at some of these. What would you, any comments for folks that would like to use the interface cable, but maybe they use LEMO plugs?
Yeah, so I have flown a lot of airplanes with LEMO plugs, and I've never seen one without standard ports right next to it. You don't actually have to have your headset plugged into the cable. The cable just has to be plugged into the airplane. So we just plug this in right next to the LEMOs. We don't make a LEMO cable because we feel like it's a ripoff to make a LEMO cable and charge more for it when you don't really need it. Like I said, I've flown quite a few airplanes, never seen one with LEMOs that didn't have standard PJ plugs or U174 plugs right next to the LEMO. So just plug into those and you're off to the races. You don't have to spend a bunch of extra money on a LEMO cable.
And can you explain about the skeleton case and using that versus the standard case?
Sure. So the standard case that comes with the GoPro is waterproof and has no holes in it or provisions to plug cables in. The skeleton case provides the same impact protection, provides rain protection, but it has a hole cut in the side of it that you can plug your cables into the camera to get audio in. So that's why we provide the skeleton case with the Elite kit. Is if you use it in the cockpit, you put it in the skeleton case, and then you can run your audio cable into it.
Can you direct people to the special deal on your website? There's a few people trying to get there right now. And
Sure. So if you go to nflightcam.com, spelled out here, just the letter N, the word flightcam.com, and then over here on the bottom right, the Nflight Cam GoPro Hero 4 Silver Bundle. I'll just walk you through the process here. Click on it. Click Add to Cart. Now you want to act fast because I've got the ticker up here on my phone and we've only got 4 of these left. So we've sold 6 since I mentioned it the first time here. Add to Cart. Go to your cart. You got to click Checkout. And then up here in the top right is where you want to type in SocialFlight Webinar. Okay? And that will get you there. So act quick if you want to get your hands on one of those. I'm pretty sure they'll be gone by the time we get off the phone. They're moving quick. Now the other products we have here, the Elite Aviator Kit, $199.99. Make sure you type in the comment section webinar special, and I'll throw in the clamp mount. And then we also have the cockpit kit for $99.99. This is our most popular product. Works great. Everything you need but the GoPro, unless you buy our GoPro bundle tonight. And you can add that in, once again, in the comments, mark the webinar special, and I'll throw in that clamp mount for you.
Now, regarding the FAA letter that you have out there, and did you have that on your website available for folks?
Yeah, I believe so. I will put a link on it, a link to it on our exterior billet mount page right here as soon as I get off the phone here. So you'll be able to go there and link to that letter.
One of the questions that we have from folks while you're still on your website is, so for folks that have a Hero 3, can you explain what they need differently or what they need to buy from your site for the 3?
Sure. So if you have a 3 and the case does not look like this, I'm pointing to the case right now. So if it does look like that, anything we have on our site will work. If it does not look like this, what I recommend is upgrading by purchasing a skeleton case for $49.99, and then you can use any of our filters. Your Hero 3 will slide right in this case. That's one option. Another option is you can go to Amazon.com, type in Nflight Cam, and right here, our Nflight Cam aircraft propeller filter for GoPro Hero 3. $24.99. You can pick these up. They're available on Amazon Prime. They're in stock at Amazon, so you can get $2.99 overnight shipping, all that good stuff. And this is our older style filter. So you can see here, if your camera case looks like this, it has screws around the bezel, and you don't want to upgrade to the new case, this is what you want. Comes with 2 different filters, a bright light and a medium light filter for really bright conditions and then for your everyday conditions.
Okay, and one of the questions we also had is for Robinson helicopter, what mount do you recommend? And for that matter, with folks with the Cessna 172, et cetera.
Okay, so love the Robinson helicopters. My recommendation in them are clamp mount. I actually haven't flown the Robinson. I actually get to fly one every now and then, and I need to go test out our new clamp mount in it, and I haven't done that. But I'm pretty certain it'll work really well on the bar that splits the 2 bubble canopies. I know it'll work really well on the crossover tube for the avionics on the right side of the cockpit. Suction cup works really well in the Robinson too. I recommend our Elite kit with our high-end suction cup in the Robinson because of the vibration. But I've flown a lot of hours in an R44 with the suction cup on the canopy and it stays put. Cessna 172 suction cups are hard to go wrong with. Billet mount's great for exterior mounting. Shot a lot of video off the wingtip of a 172 with the billet mount. Works really well.
Another question that we've had, Patrick, here is we've talked a little bit about using the Wi-Fi connection, and how effective have you found that to be when you're dealing with mounting something out on the wing, especially if it's going to be under the wing on a metal aircraft?
It's hit or miss, to be 100% honest. I've found that if I have line of sight to the camera, it works really well. If it's, I'm sitting like in a, let's say a Piper Cherokee 6, and I've got the camera under the wingtip, and I'm sitting in the pilot seat, I've had intermittent connectivity with my Wi-Fi app, with my phone. No, the GoPro remote control has worked really well for me. So I've been able to use that pretty much anywhere except for on the tail of large aircraft. If you get more than about 50 feet away from you, it gets a little bit flaky. At that point, though,
okay,
put a big SD card in it, charge your battery up, hit go, crawl in the cockpit, go flying, and come back. It's kind of the best way to get it. Usually when I'm flying an airplane like that, it's a very expensive photo shoot. So I mount 2 cameras and just run them the whole time. But that is kind of a drawback. Unlike the Cherokees and stuff like that, I always put it on top of the wing if I want to use the remote. Otherwise, if I want to get like landing shots or something like that, I run the camera the whole time so I don't have to worry about whether the remote will or will not work.
Okay, and we already have folks asking what shows you are going to be at and whether or not you'll have a booth.
So we're always at Sun and Fun in Oshkosh, and we have a strong partnership with Sporties. They sell all of our products as well. And so we work out of their booth there, so we're not competing head-to-head with them. Aircraft Spruce also carries our products. Pilot Mall carries them. So most of the big retailers out there have our products, and we're always at the shows. If you like our Facebook page, we're always posting when we're at the shows where we're at, and we're always happy to talk with you. We're also always available, support at nflightcam.com. I'm always happy to talk on the phone. I like to do it by appointment, though, because I do fly as well, and sometimes it's easier for me just to set up an appointment, and if you call and I'm out flying, it's hard for me to answer the phone. We're a two-man show here. It's myself and one other person that do in-flight cam. So we're both full-time. We're both pilots. We're both passionate about aviation, and we're in this more for the help the community out for the aviation side of it. We get to fly a lot of cool airplanes, stuff like that, and make cool videos. That's what we're about here.
Now, lastly, Patrick, we do have some folks asking that are trying to use your code. That may mean that special is all used up. Is that the case?
That's the case. They're gone.
So that's why the code is no longer working.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that. What's the best way for people to contact you for further questions or things like that for their aircraft, Patrick?
Support at nflightcam.com or Patrick at nflightcam.com. Like I said, there's two of us. I do all the customer support, so both those emails come straight to me. And then, like I said, if you want a phone call or anything like that, just say, hey, Patrick, I want to talk on the phone. I'll say, hey, cool, I'm available at this time tomorrow or whenever. When can I call you? And we'll make it happen. But we try to keep we're not a big company, try to keep our overhead low so we can keep our prices low. So neither one of us make a full-time living doing this. So that's why we don't offer a phone number on our website just to call anytime during business hours.
Great. So, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. Patrick Carter with Nflight Cam. And as he mentioned, he's available at the major shows of Summit Fun and Oshkosh, but also available for follow-up questions after this. And I'd just like to thank everyone again for joining us this evening for this presentation of flying tips with a GoPro. We really appreciate it. SocialFlight is a community. We're here for you. Our goal is just to get people flying more, and that requires all of us. So if you know anyone, please pass along the information. We work, again, as a community, and the only way that we exist is folks like Patrick and some of the other very major companies that drive this industry and give us all more reasons to fly. A recording of tonight's presentation will be available by tomorrow morning. Usually it's available within 3-4 hours, but it takes a little time for us to process that. And the link for that will be in an email that you get directly following tonight's presentation. So give it a little bit of time for that link to change and for us to get that recording up there, but then it will be available there. It'll also be available in SocialFlight by going to SocialFlight University. That's a bar right on the SocialFlight map on the web or on the app on your phone or tablet. And then we'll have that video posted within SocialFlight University as well. So again, thank you all so much for joining us, and happy flying.
Thank you very much, Jeff.